Robyn C. Spencer, an associate professor of history at Lehman College, held a book reading at the Leonard Leaf Library on her book, The Revolution Has Come, Black Power, Gender, and the Black Panther Party in Oakland.
Well, I was inspired to write the book from different sources. I was inspired by the autobiography of Assata Shakur, which was the first Black Panther autobiography I'd ever read. And her story of struggle and sacrifice and commitment really changed my life. She was someone who grew up in New York. She was talking about BMCC, places that I knew. I could definitely relate to everything that she was going through as a young Black woman at the time. And I was just so amazed by the sacrifice that she made to be part of the movement and everything that she endured. So that sort of set me on the path of learning more and finding more Black Power, Black Panther autobiographies. And when I came to the end of that road, I decided that there needed to be more so that more people could know, and more than autobiographies, something to kind of weave all the stories together in a narrative.
Spencer touched on the history of Black activism from the civil rights movement all the way up until now.
I think what attracts me to the 1960s, it was a moment of insurgency, where not only were African Americans in urban areas, in rural areas, organizing themselves in a large variety of organizations, but they were also joined by Native Americans, by Chicanos, by Asian Americans, by so many others who were also struggling around the question of freedom. The women's movement was happening, and it was really a time where all those movements came together. The reality is that those movements were violently repressed by the state. So I think in the wake of those movements, you really see a retrenchment where you have the rise of conservatism, you have the pumping of drugs into urban and inner city areas, you have gangs really taking the role of organization that political entities used to take in the time. And I think that now that we're in another moment of insurgency and uprising, especially I think many people feel galvanized by the killings, especially I think going back to Mike Brown and even the juxtaposition of that with then other activities that were going on and other incidents of police brutality. I feel like there's kind of a crescendo that's happening, and the emergence of Black Lives Matter as a slogan first, now as a movement, an organization with chapters that you can join. They put out an actual policy statement. They engage with the elections. They engage with grassroots protests. There's so many groups like Black Youth Project, like Ella's Daughters, that are happening. So it really feels like this is another moment where young people are organizing. And it's nice to see that there remains to be some intergenerational communication around legacies of struggle.
Zwaylin Hale, a graduate student at Lehman, described her thoughts on the future of Black activism.
Women are always at the forefront or behind male leaders and those who don't lead and follow. I believe that women should be activists in their homes with their children and promote their spouses, husbands, boyfriends, to be activists as well, and to kind of take a Spike Lee Chirac approach to, without peace there'll be no love, and to try to display that in the home as well. And that might get the men moving and other women moving as well.
The Revolution Has Come provides a panoramic view of the party's organization over its 16-year history and truly demonstrates how Black Panthers embodied Black power through national activism, interracial alliances, and commitment to address state violence. I'm Christina Lane, reporting for BronxNet.